Okay. Hello. I think we are live. Hi, everyone. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. It looks like we are live. Thanks for joining us. This is our first live stream on YouTube. So appreciate the patience with us in advance if there's any technical issues. But to start off, I will send it over to Eric.
Totally, yeah. And if there are any issues, who's like the head of the marketing stuff over here, Kate? I mean, who would be responsible for any issues?
Claim the fifth. Claim the fifth.
I'm just joking. Cool. Yeah, I don't know how many people are like tuning in, but excited to have you all here. See some comments actually streaming in already. So we're here with a good number of folks from the team. I think it was like a week or two ago, Dom and I, Dominic Elm, who's he's at least in the chat box up there, if that's what everyone else is seeing. Pointing, that's Dom. Hopefully this is coming through exactly how I'm doing on my screen. That's Dom. So we did a workshop on how the Bolt open source repo works maybe a week or two ago. So you might be familiar with Dom and I. But maybe the other folks on the call here, maybe you could give we should probably do quick introductions of everybody for those who haven't met all of us. So I can kind of lead off. I'm Eric. I'm the co-founder and CEO of StackBlitz. I'm kind of the in programming terms, and kind of the root error handler, I suppose, for the company. So I just do a whole bunch of different stuff. But with that, I'll hand it over to Dom.
Hi, I'm Dominic. I'm from Germany, and I work on various things, including Web Container and Bolt currently. So that's what I do at StackBlitz. I pass it over to Joan.
Thanks. Hey everyone, I'm Joan. You may have seen me on TutorialKit, where I've been working on. I've also worked on Web Container, and I also work now on Bolt. And then I guess next, Tomek, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Thanks, Joan. Yeah, I'm Tomek. I'm DevRel here at StackBlitz. So I'm the one sharing some of the demos and doing tutorials and tips and tricks. And yeah, there are some cool tutorials on our YouTube channel coming, actually. So next, let's go to Tom.
Yeah, I'm Tom. I'm from the UK. I work at StackBlitz, and I'm focused on Web Container and Bolt.
Yeah. Okay. That's the whole crew, I think, here. Yeah. All right. Game on. Good stuff. Okay. So we got some comments already flowing in. Got folks tuned in. So I think a couple things. I mean, it's been it's almost been 3 weeks now. I think tomorrow will be 3 weeks exactly since we put Bolt online. I'll speak on behalf of the team. This has been a wild 3 weeks. We've been, just the number of folks that have been, trying out Bolt and subscribing and like building just incredible things has been huge. I'm sorry, Denti. I don't know if you introduced yourself. You were off video.
Yeah, I accidentally navigated away.
Okay, give a quick intro. Give a quick intro.
Yeah, my name's Sam. I'm from United Kingdom. I'm currently in Ireland. And yeah, I work on Bolt and some cool stuff at StackBlitz.
Heck yeah. Yeah, we've been, I'd say that would everyone agree, things have been probably the most crazy that, I don't know, probably in my career of anything we've ever launched. Hard to overstate. It's been awesome. So it's been really cool seeing how folks have been using Bolt. And so the team's been really hard at work because like when we put Bolt online, I mean, we had no idea the sort of like pickup it would have and just kind of how how it's resonated with folks. And so we put it out in a state that was pretty beta. Good amount of bugs. There's things that are missing in it. And so we've just been scrambling jets the past 3 weeks here to just stay on top of the demand and just go and make the product better as fast as we can and fix things. And I just want to say I'm really proud of everyone that you're looking up here. Really proud of these folks and everyone on the StackBlitz team. Folks have been working weekends, working through the night. to really make this really make this amazing, and it shows. And so that's kind of why I want to kick off here, is just kind of showing what the team has been working on. And if you kind of followed our Twitter, you've probably seen some of the stuff. I just kind of want to talk through some of the changes that we've landed. Just that's really, again, it was hard work from our team here. So to kind of kick off, there's been a handful of updates. I can kind of let me go ahead and pull up. But by the way, if you don't follow us on Twitter or X or whatever, you should. This is actually where like kind of the primary place where we're broadcasting what we're up to. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see. Let me pull this up. So I'm gonna find my screen. Okay. Hopefully you should see my screen. Yep, you do. Okay. So one of the major things we launched without was the ability to have checkpoints when you're coding. And maybe this is actually better shown with like a demo. But often if I say like, make a to-do app, often the AI is quite good at writing code, as we'll see here in a quick second. But the problem comes like if you tell the AI to do something and it's it's not that great, and you want to like roll back. We initially didn't have a way to do that, and so in case you missed it, I'll let this thing do its thing. But if you kind of zoom in on this video here, we have this really handy rollback to checkpoint button on every message that you can click, and it'll actually go ahead and roll you back and take you back to the previous state that you were on before it got all messed up, right? Fun story about this. Dom and Sam V on our team, different Sam than the ones on this call, they shipped that feature, I think it was like in less than 12 hours end to end, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Dom?
Yeah, that was in a day, in like 8 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. In the comments, someone said rollback should refund credits also. Spiritually, I agree. The problem is like AI inference. Once the AI does the thing, the money is spent. And so I think that the name of the game is really how do we make the AI more accurate and whatnot, right? And so we released some updates literally yesterday. They're gonna go a long ways, and we've got a couple of demos we're gonna show on stream of stuff that's gonna land this week and next week that will make it even better. But yeah, so this is super cool. So this is something that the team launched. Another cool thing, this actually came pretty shortly after the launch, was I pulled up the wrong tweet. You can actually open GitHub repos in Bolt. So if I go to like the Vue.js repo, and for their documentation, if I wanted to like open this up in Bolt, it's really cool. All you have to do is just put bolt.new in front of the GitHub URL and hit enter, and it'll automatically go ahead and just pull it in. This works for public repos that are like small, medium to size, because we want to make sure that we don't burn through your tokens and whatnot. But super cool. So that's one of the other cool things we've landed. So these are all like real great feature enhancements and whatever have you. Let's see, what else have we launched? Kind of looking at the list here. One other thing that I want to bring up. So this has actually been, so when we first launched, we had one pricing plan. And it was, at StackBlitz, since we launched the company in 2017, we've had one personal plan. It was like $9 a month. And so we like kept that. We had no idea how many people would end up using Bolt. And so probably I think about a week in on Bolt, we just got overloaded with folks using the service. We just couldn't keep up with the demand. We are a team of less than 20 people, and we had thousands and thousands of folks signing up. And so, and the other part of this is to improve the AI. We need to do more inference. Like there's a lot more we can do to improve the quality if we can spend more money on the inference side of things. So we ended up increasing the base price tier to $20. And so one of the things that we also had was like token reload. We can buy tokens, one time as needed or whatever have you. And so we originally had those priced at the same price point as our base plan. So we kind of pull up the pricing here. you'll see, let me make this a little bit bigger. So yeah, that's easier to look at. So this is the current pricing, of our subscription tiers. And you can buy tokens as needed individually now. However, we have priced them higher than what it costs if you're going to go on one of these subscriptions. So like to buy 10 million tokens on the $20 a month plan, it's $30 if you want to buy 10 million tokens more. And so you might be thinking, man, Eric, like that is so not cool. Why would you ever do that? Like that's really, really, really lame. Here's the reason why. So now over the past 3 weeks, we're working with some new variables that fundamentally from our point of view, we want to increase the number of messages that you can send with every dollar, right? There's a lot of things we can do in the product, which we're going to be showing some of the stuff we landed yesterday, and we're going to be landing. So the stuff that we can do engineering wise, one of the other levers is if you have a lot of volume, if you have a lot of people using this product, we can go to the AI providers that we work with and negotiate volume discounting. And that's now a lever that we can use because we have an incredible amount of volume flowing between Bolt usage and our upstream inference providers. And so the problem, though, is that we can only forecast, like for us to go and negotiate volume discounting, we have to know how much volume we're going to see going month to month. And the problem with one-time token reloads is that we can't forecast that. We don't have any notion of how often how those tokens are going to be used in any consistent way. So we have a heavy preference, actually, not just from the StackBlitz company side, but really it's the motivation here is the more people that are buying monthly subscriptions for the amount of tokens they intend to use per month, the more we can go and negotiate volume discounts at higher amounts, which gives us higher discounts, which gives everyone on the platform more messages that they can send per month, right? So we set this up to incentivize you all to basically go and choose a subscription that's going to actually allow us to go and forecast forward and actually negotiate larger volume discounts, of which we've been able to start doing this already. But I wanted to speak publicly to that because that's kind of been a new thing that we hadn't originally baked into any of the user experience and pricing considerations. But and just to kind of give some context, I mean, today, like we are extremely, if there's a margin, extremely slim on tokens. You can actually verify this. Bolt.new is open source. If you pull down the repo, put in your own Anthropic API key, you can actually go and validate what I'm saying is true. You can see exactly how much you're going to rack up on your Anthropic bill by going and using Bolt locally, right? And with no intermediary in between. So we've got extremely competitive pricing here, and it will only get more competitive as folks are going on to subscription tiers, and especially on the larger ones. And so and if you're one of the folks, by the way, that's upgraded to one of the higher subscription tiers, thanks. Like that has made a huge difference for literally everyone that is using Bolt in being able to send more messages per dollar, right? So that's kind of one of the things I wanted to speak to because this is a very, very it's a big change, and we've been kind of trying to do the best to shift the strategy and optimize for the most number of messages you can send in a given allotment of dollars, and so we've been able to do a ton of that. So the other thing I want to talk about on that note, so there's kind of the business side of how do we get more tokens per dollar, and then there's in the product and engineering, how do we do that? In case for folks that missed this yesterday, this has been in the works for the past couple of weeks. We've talked about this on Twitter, and I think, Dom, maybe this is a good spot for you to jump in. But we've been doing a whole bunch of R&D on how to really make the underlying AI agent smarter, more accurate, use less tokens. And because the way that most people are burning tokens today is often it's mistakes the AI is making or something, and they have to roll back, or it's writing gigantic files, etc. So, anyways, Don, I want to hand it over to you. Maybe kind of speak a little bit to the R&D that you've been doing on this end of things.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we've rolled out, like Eric said, we rolled out a couple of new changes to the system, which overall, I guess, reduced the token usage. We also tried to fix the issue where code is being truncated. like all of those things. And fundamentally, while these AI models keep improving, we're investing a lot of research on our end to kind of like dive in and understand exactly how we can make the system work for us and fix all those issues. So we're investing a lot into the research on prompt engineering and trying to tweak it and really optimizing on various fronts to, for instance, improve design capabilities. And I think it really shows, because with the new update we just released, I don't know if folks have realized that it really got so much better. Like it's a massive step up all of a sudden. And Tomek has tweeted about it as well, and you can see that it can actually build like a clone of Spotify or Booking.com and all these sites, and it's just impressive what it can do. So really, almost every day we're trying to like do the deep like research on our end to improve the system end to end, so that you're spending less tokens, and we're constantly improving, on these various fronts like design capabilities and just better engineering overall.
Yeah, and it really shows. I mean, I think like today we've had just like from kind of pure metrics, after putting out this release like yesterday afternoon or evening or whatever, Stack has become, Bolt has become so much more effective at punching out code and designs. The conversion rates, and just we in the past few hours we've hit the highest number of, we broke our previous records of highest number of users and messages per minute happening on Bolt. And so it's I think to me that kind of indicates like this is you should really give Bolt a try today if you haven't tried it in a couple of days, because it got so much better. And Tomek put together this thread, and well, Tomek, you're on the call. I saw you posting this last night. And also I just want to call out, like I was the one, let me go to my profile. I was the one who was like, wow, the design capabilities are insane. And I got nothing. I got nothing. 42 likes or something. And then Tomek comes in and does this Tomek thing and then breaks the internet. And I'm like, wow, that's great. That's what I wanted. So yeah, Tomek, speak up, speak for your actions. How could you?
I mean, honestly, like the best reactions I get, it's like when I'm in shock myself and I'm just like conveying that shock on Twitter or YouTube. So that was one of the cases. I just like, okay, let's try something like silly, make me a Spotify. Like, all right, this is literally like looks like a Spotify app. But yeah, I made it's crazy how far you can go with a simple prompt. And I think like there's a lot of reactions to that thread, to these examples, and people's like, oh, this is a template, it's not everything. But I think it's a really good like litmus test as to what it's capable of. And it's like you have to remember that this is usually like a step 0, like, or step 1 after the first prompt. So this is what I'm trying to show. So let me. And I mean, after that, you iterate. Add
you want to take over the screen share?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it. Also, if your best tweets are you being shocked and conveying that, you should start doing the YouTuber thing where you like go like, like put a little screenshot of you in the image, just like just pro tip,
I might just this might get me through over the edge actually. Okay, I think this is the right screen. Okay, so like I don't know if you'll see the or hear the sound here, but even like if you look at the like subtle things that it does with the highlights, everything, this looks so aesthetic already. And I basically asked it to make a step sequencer. My expectation was I want some squares, and the squares should make some sounds. So that was the first one that kind of broke me. That's something that I'm working on right now. It's still, the idea is that this will react to an MP3 that you throw at it. Can you hear the music, actually? Probably
No,
not.
sadly.
No.
Okay, so you have to imagine that one because it's working. And I've posted that as well, so you can throw your own like, MP3 at this. Basically, MP3 visualizer. Just right now, I asked it to make a calculator, and even like just look at this calculator. Like that's a good solid like 2 hours of work made in
I think
30
that's pretty.
seconds. And
It is.
yeah,
Tell it to
The-
make
the
a
cut-
TI to make a TI 84.
I mean, not only is it pretty, I mean, it's a calculator, but like, look at the color design.
Yeah.
I mean, that's solid.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, and that's the thing too, is like, I think, especially with the latest, like I think this is really where the power of like, because when I was testing this yesterday evening after we'd put out the update, because we wanted to get the update in everyone's hands as fast as we could. And so we tested it to make sure, we nothing, there weren't gonna be regressions and that sort of thing. But we didn't get to like play with it and be mind blown by it until it was basically on prod. And so I was playing with it just kind of last night. And I was just kind of blown away by how much better it was at design. And I think a lot of it's really cool to see, this is really where the power of web container comes in, because you could have it spit out HTML and CSS or something without needing an operating system. The problem is that to do anything meaningful and beautiful and whatever, you need third-party libraries, you need component libraries. And there's like, like for example, like Shadcn, great UI library, but to make it look really bespoke, like this calculator app, it wouldn't be the right tool for the job, right? And so you look at this, and it's it's like it's gorgeous, the stuff that it's spitting out, and it can only do that because it actually has a full operating system with Node.js, can install dependencies, etc., and where it can choose the right component libraries and styling for the job versus trying to shoehorn you into something that does it for everything. And it just, with this latest update, it's just so more obvious than ever. That is something that's like pretty magical, So I just want to like kind of mention that, because that's, I think, to me, why this is so different than any of the other like code design AI things that have been online prior to Bolt. You gotta have kind of a real operating system, to actually do this. So
yeah, and again, to circle back to that original point, that okay, it looks pretty, but like, where do you get it afterwards? I'm like, currently, again, I started doing it like yesterday night, really, after we released the new version. So this is not a template anymore. This is like a game that actually works, and the logic is like I asked it like for every piece of the logic, down to like how the camera operates. And at some point I was like, oh, let's add like more cars, and the cars are just like driving here. So
wow.
So this is where you can start with an UI like a Spotify, like looking like beautifully and everything, but then just like add more logic to it, add a backend and things like that. Tomorrow, actually, I'll be publishing a tutorial on how to connect Firebase to your Bolt app. So yeah, you get so far so fast.
And Tommy, you started from scratch, basically,
Yeah.
with this thing?
Oh yeah, just like initially it looked like I don't want to show you the, how should I? But my first one was a car racing game in Babylon, and at first it looked like a square with a rectangle on it, and that
Wow.
was just it. Then I asked it for like textures, the logic, the like bouncing around. It should bounce actually when it hits the target, and things like that.
What's like, I'm just like looking at this, and it just kind of hit me like, I mean, back in hell, back when I was a kid, right? It's like, the way I would be entertained was like playing Pokemon on a Game Boy, right? And you know, the idea of like making a game like Pokemon, you know, it's like, I think as a kid, I think a lot of people, you know, are like, oh, I'd love to make a video game, but it's like complicated. It's complicated to like make even like something like Super Mario or Pong or whatever, right? This is wild because you know, people are, you can just kind of spawn, if you have an idea for a game, you can just like spawn it into existence. I mean, that's that. I mean, at least for especially, you know, young kids, I think that not that that's something that's exclusive to them, but it's like, at least for me, I guess I'll speak for my personal my personal experience and ambitions. Like I always wanted to make games as a kid, and you know, that's to learn game development hard. I mean, hard. Like it's harder than making, you know, web apps in a lot of senses. Like there's a lot of math involved that, you know, when you're 7, doing physics-based collisions and whatever is probably, you know, like for at least for me, wasn't in the cards. So anyways, that's insanely cool. Yeah, so this is major update. This is a huge update. Sam, Tom, Joan, Dom, I don't know if you have other demos you kind of want to show of stuff that if you played around, or, you know, things you want to show off that, you know, kind of, you know, with this update that have been interesting. But I know it's pretty fresh. Like we've had this not even 12 hours. So, you know, yeah, or if you have thoughts you want to share.
No, I don't have any you know, particular demos to show right now.
Cool. Okay. Good stuff. So maybe good transition. Okay, so like what's next? So I think this is we've got some I think we've got some deploy previews fired up, ready to show you all. But I think you know, one of the I think the key thing that we've been really working a lot on is, again, like how do we actually bring down the cost per message, basically. Which is a really hard problem because, like, when, you know, if you look at other tools that are doing AI code stuff, they're like editing like one file, maybe it's just like a React component or something. They're not editing full projects, right? And because of that, like you can maybe edit more in those tools, but that's because there's less token usage happening effectively, right? So we're having to do a lot of R&D on this front. So we've already talked about a lot of that. We've got some more R&D, you know, from the stuff we've been doing. We got more fruits of that labor that, you know, actually just like right before this, we had our engineering sync, and I don't know, Dom, maybe you could kind of speak to, you know, just a little bit of what might be coming. You know, to not ruin the whole surprise, but just a little bit. Just give us a little taste, like give us the Costco sampler of what is maybe coming. You know, enough where like that's interesting. I kind of maybe I'll buy the whole package because that tastes so good.
Okay.
You have Costco in Germany, by the way?
Costco, no.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know. No. Costco?
No, I'm just like, yeah. No, I've
Yeah. No, we don't have it, but I mean, I'll give you a Costco. I don't know what it is, but so let's see. Okay, so there's a few things that are coming. So especially around how how the model is generating output. So I think essentially, fundamentally, what we're trying to do here is, again, we're trying to bring down token usage, which everyone will benefit from. So we're trying to reduce the amount of tokens that the model is generating. At the same time, we're trying to, you know, decrease latency in the response, right? So we want to make bolt as fast as possible. You know, the bolt isn't just there, like it stands for like speed. And we already have web container, and it's like lightning fast, and it runs everything in the browser. So we're trying to get that applied to bolt as well. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is, like, we want to improve the overall performance of the model, right? So in that it can more quickly generate like file changes and all of that, and at the same time reduce the number of tokens that are being generated, if that makes sense. As a small sneak peek, I don't know if I should go into any more detail or if people can already think of what it could be, but I mean,
yeah, maybe it'll be a surprise. I mean, if you've been following our Twitter, I think we posted a thread of things that we're working on, and this might be already listed there. But
I'm very excited. I think it's cool R&D that we're doing, and we're knee deep on the AI side and doing all the research there to optimize all of that.
Heck yeah. So we'll have more information probably on that. I think probably next week, if maybe end of this week, on, because I think there's again two levels of optimizations, like under the hood, performance of the model, performance of how we're things that are kind of invisible to you as someone using Bolt. It's just, you'll notice that it's just faster and there's less tokens being used, that sort of thing. Then there's actually new user experience improvements that let you better control what the model is doing and is not doing, for that matter. And so to that end, Joan, I think if you've got the demo, maybe kind of speak to what you've been working on and kind of give folks a sneak preview. This is we still got a little UI work we're going to be doing on this, but this, I think we should seems, well, like, Joan, you can feel free to commit or not whether this is landing this week publicly here.
It might land this week. We'll see. I mean, I think it's not that far from being ready.
I agree.
But yeah, maybe if I share my screen, it's going to be easier. Yeah, so essentially what this feature is all about is being able to restrict what of files are being modified. So for instance, in here, I've just created a simple example where I don't want the AI to change this file, so I've locked it. And then I'm explicitly asking it to modify it. And then it says, well, actually, I can't, because you also told me with this icon here. So I cannot modify it. So then it gives you like instruction on what to do to modify it. And the idea is that you could also, so yeah, this UI here is where it's being rendered. This is really TBD. This is not the final result. But the idea is you could also say, oh, actually, just focus on the source folder, like make changes there, but to nothing else. So, for instance, if you've got, like a ShadCN base project, maybe you don't want the base component from ShadCN to be modified by the AI. So that way you could do it like this, like you specify, oh, lock this folder, but then still focus on the SRC folder. Yeah, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So what this gives you is also, if the AI would still write to those files, the request will be aborted, which means that you won't lose any tokens, but more importantly, you won't lose the result on the actual result on the file, because the file won't be modified. Yeah, that's pretty much it, actually.
Yeah, can you zoom in a little bit on the file pane UI, just so like I don't know how big it is on other people's screens, but like but yeah, so like just kind of see. So there's like two icons here that, and we're probably going to put this in a context menu, when we ship this. But basically, like this is going to allow you to better control things that AI should not be overwriting. Because one of the things is sometimes the AI model is like too smart for its own good, and it'll be like, oh, you asked me to update the color of the button. Well, while I'm at it, why don't I update the colors of every button in every file? Like it just kind of does dumb stuff like that. And again, we're under the hood, we're working on improvements to just make that happen less. But if you're working in a project and you're like, okay, I only want this specific button to be changed or something, you can click, I want to target this file, and the AI will only write changes into that file. It will not write them anywhere else. Another common one is, the env file that Joan's got locked here is you have your secrets in there. And oftentimes AI is like, oh, you shouldn't have your secrets in here. Like, oh, like I've removed your secrets. And it tries to help you when it shouldn't be, right? And again, there's stuff we can do under the hood. There's also files you're like, don't ever touch this again because it's perfect, right? So it kind of gives you, very, very, specific control over, okay, what should it be doing and what should it never be doing effectively. So this has been like a pretty highly requested sort of bit of functionality. But you can kind of imagine, like, as you're building out kind of larger, meaningful apps, it's actually quite useful to be able to say, just like, I only want to be writing stuff in this folder, in this file, never write stuff to this file over here, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of that's the essence of what we're looking at here. And we're gonna be getting this shipped. Yeah, hopefully this week. And I mean, I think the core functionality is there. I think we're just doing some final UX passes on the thing and putting it in a context menu for the how you activate and whatever have you. But this will make a big difference for folks that are, I think particularly for people that are heavily using Bolt. It's going to save you a lot of tokens if the AI is doing stuff you don't want it to be doing, right? I did see one question in the chat I can't find it now, but I said there was a question: can we lock chunks? And the answer is, and I imagine chunks meaning kind of a portion of the file. And the answer to that is not now, but it seems like kind of probably an obvious thing that we will go and implement, where you can just highlight code and say, okay, only this is what you're editing, and this is it, basically, right? So I actually think from a technical perspective, it probably, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Juan, but that probably would not be hard for us to land, you know?
I mean, I think you would probably not want to log chunk personally. Like maybe log functions, but you know, might be debatable. Like,
I'm almost thinking like, well, maybe, let's get some live feed. I'm kind of imagining if you just select shit in the I use a bad word. You select stuff in the editor, and you know, right now we have like the ask bolt. I kind of wonder if it's like, you know, ask bolt to edit this specifically, or I don't know, like target this, or I don't know, something like that. That's almost how I feel like I would imagine it should work. But I'm curious if, am I alone? Chat, am I alone? I see some W's in the chat for this idea. Or is this an L? I see nothing. So
like you would select this and ask only to change those lines.
I think so. Where it's like, hey, like, yeah, basically you can like supply a prompt where it's like, hey, modify these things, or, you know, like, you know,
which you can already do, right?
But I think it doesn't isolate. It's not like the target feature where it'll, you know,
I mean, there's no extra instructions, but at least like what I'm saying is, like, if you would select this and say like change, I've done this in the past many times, is you know, you can ask Bolt and say like, okay, change the title, and you highlight it. It has that extra context, and it will just modify that part then, because it uses that extra context and it gives a bit more weight to it for the modifications it does. Of course, there's no guarantee at the moment that it you know, it will change some other areas of that file as well, but at least it is a way to kind of like, you know, restrict a little bit the context and be more specific in what you would want to change. Like, you could go ahead and say like, what I've done in the past is like, hey, I have this function, and I highlighted the whole function and said like ask Bolt to add the extra context, and then say, okay, in this function, change like the variable foo to bar, and then it actually goes ahead and usually does a really good job at just changing foo to bar in all the places.
Interesting. So maybe you know, I haven't tried this with the latest updates we put out yesterday, so it may be even better at just by default isolating with that. I mean, yeah, let's see what it does.
You know, I mean, you know, adding more kind of like, you know, instructions and like putting some rules in place for when you have this and you ask for changes, do not edit anything outside of that, is definitely possible. But yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And so it's updating. Why did it update the app? I
think it's because this one's importing the start.
I see. Okay, so that's actually like relevant then, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I mean,
so I guess maybe the answer is give it a shot. It likely today already is able to be, you know, to do a good job of targeting changes specifically to those lines of code. So, yeah, good stuff.
Let's get some questions.
Yeah.
Going here. Can you see? Does everyone see this?
Yes. Good question. Thoughts on the open source Bolt part? So, yeah, I put out a tweet on the company account. Like someone was asking this in Twitter, and so I wrote a reply. So I'll kind of repeat the essence of what I said there. So the team has been so slammed with just keeping up with the demand on the bolt.new kind of production side. There have been so many cool forks and pull requests made though to that repo that are, I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, so it's been kind of funny because like there's a lot of features like, you know, for example, chat persistence and checkpoint persistence, which by the way, we've got in progress and looks like is going to be landing this week. Which is just another update, but you know, like there's been some folks that are adding checkpoint persistence, chat persistence, that you can choose whatever model you want. Like there's just incredible stuff happening out there. And the open source world is kind of shipped faster than we have. I mean, you know, we have to kind of take into account being in production with a lot of users, and so like kind of more considerations, right? But it's been so cool to see. I think the main thing for us is like what's in the open source version, we wanted to mirror kind of what we've got, kind of the core components from our prod stuff as much as possible, because otherwise, if we want to bring stuff backwards to it, if there's a huge divergence with a lot of stuff that's being like, choosing your model and things like that we that not currently really on our roadmap on the prod side, it's going to be really hard for us to merge these things. And so, I think at a high level, the way we're thinking about this is, we want to put a spotlight on the really cool stuff that's happening. And we've been retweeting all this, the cool stuff the open source world has been making, the forks and whatever. So we're thinking like in the README, having like a gallery of like, hey, go check out these forks to add these different features and that sort of thing. As far as core contributions into the bolt.new open source repo, things that are like obvious bug fixes, we certainly would want to merge in, and just generally keeping up to date and so we can backport stuff as well. Candidly, we're barely staying above water, just kind of keeping up with getting stuff landed on prod. So like at this exact moment, we don't have, we have almost basically zero eng capacity to be like investing in the open source, further adding stuff to the open source dev. We fully have intentions of keeping it up to date and bringing stuff backwards to it. This is probably a good time to mention we are hiring. If you're looking for a very amazing time to join the AI coding revolution at a company full of what I would say are pretty fun and cool people, you should go to stacklets.com/careers. We've got some job openings. There's to be writing even more. Anyways, go take a look at that, because like honestly, we're largely just gated on the number of people that we have at the company at this moment. So anyways, so that's kind of the high level. We love seeing the stuff that's going on with the open source world and what people are building with Bolt and forking it. It's great. I mean, this is like, I'm kind of curious to hear the kind of the thoughts from the team. And honestly, I think a lot of the Eng folks on this call are like, our folks have just been hammering so hard and just getting stuff landed that I think just kind of, I don't know how much you've been able to kind of dig into the stuff that's happening, but at least from, the marketing, DevRel side, I've been spending a lot of time with, there's a lot of really inspiring stuff that's been built. That's where I'm like, oh, that is a really great like UI, or like that is a really cool integration. And that's kind of beyond our wildest dreams. When we open source the core of Bolt, that was, we were like, we think people will find this cool, and we think it'll spark a lot of innovation that otherwise probably won't happen, because all these other AI things are completely closed source, and it's like marketed as like some crazy thing, and and then the reality is like, there's a lot of innovation that happens around the people wrapping APIs and stuff, but I think there's not enough stuff happening in the open source world around it. So anyways, cool to see. We cool, and we love to see the open source world kicking into gear and making cool stuff, and keeping us on our toes to ship stuff that they're beating us to market on. So anyways, I don't know if anyone on the team wants to speak on this, but I think we've been pretty stoked to see it. Denti, I know that you've been deep in the open source repo. I think you've probably spent the most time looking at issues. Have anyone on this call looking at issues, looking at the PRs?
I know we've done loads of issue keeping, and there's loads of cool pull requests, like really cool. It's awesome. Like the community is like really great around it, and just promoting that would be awesome, because web containers are a really cool technology.
Totally.
Awesome.
Cool.
I think we were tempering a couple more questions here. I'm going to show this one.
Do we have a hard stop? I say we keep rolling to the end of the hour. I'm down to answer questions while we're all here.
Yeah, we'll keep rolling. Yeah, this will be recorded if you have to drop, but we're going to keep on answering some questions.
Heck yeah. Okay, so tips on how to improve backend integration with Supabase, user auth, DB storage, CMS. So I think on this, so one I would give, I don't know if you've tried the latest model updates and agent updates from that we dropped last night. I would try today, see how that goes, because there's a lot of improvements in there. The other thing is, we're going to be investing in deep integration with like Supabase and other kind of database or backends as a service type offerings. where like if you kind of imagine coming to Bolt, you say, I want a chat app, make me a chat app or something. And it says, okay, great. Click here to sign into your Supabase account. I'll make a database for you. I'll set up your tables for you. I'll get everything. So I'll get your API key and automatically put in the EMV file. Blah, blah, blah. So you can kind of imagine like a lot of things you have to do manually right now, where I think probably a lot of these errors are occurring because you're having to like step out of Bolt, go do stuff, bring stuff back in. Bolt doesn't have observability of that, right? I think a lot of that's will be solved in a very magical way by baking this stuff directly into the product. But that's kind of like we're definitely working on that on the StackBlitz side. It's on our roadmap. I think what I would say is if you're kind of running errors, try the latest model. If you run into issues, sometimes it's just helpful to like paste in docs from Supabase or wherever if you're running into stuff and just say, hey, here's some context, right? And see if it can help you. But I honestly think I would be very curious if you just try out the latest updates from yesterday because it might help a ton. So
sweet. Another question.
Almost too good at designing something. I suppose, maybe it's some on the end side, but I mean, I think all these LLMs are being trained on GitHub code, right? Like, are you like this open source repos on GitHub, right? Yeah, I mean, I think that's it's, I would bet a lot of money that's the origin of a lot of this stuff is just stuff that's, open source and it's getting trained on that, Slow mode. People who are crazy familiar with Cursor, I don't know if I've never ran into what is slow mode. I have no idea.
I also have no idea.
I've used Cursor. I don't know what slow mode is though.
It looks like it's related to like compute, like and using cheaper models for some tasks. Or
oh, I see. Okay, got it. Yes, actually, we're probably going to have a within the next month or two. It's something we're kicking around. Where I mean, the thing is, it's a trade-off. Basically, I think we'll probably have two options: amazing and more expensive, good and cheaper, right? As far as code quality and price is concerned. I think those will probably be the main thing. So that's another way where you can maximize your tokens usage is if you're doing something that is doesn't require a crazy amount of creativity, or if you're just working and you're like, hey, by default I'm gonna be in the cheaper mode, and then when I'm running into lots of issues, I can flip to the more advanced, more expensive token usage one. But yeah, so anyways, that's definitely something we're looking into adding. I think are there plans for continuing local project support? I'm not sure exactly what this means. If it's about the open source repo, yeah, I mean, certainly we want to keep. I think we kind of addressed that in the last one. More of a StackBlitz question. Like syncing to local. Yeah, the current StackBlitz implementation is probably pretty buggy. That's probably an alpha thing that we've kept around for a while. That's actually been one of the interesting pieces of feedback. Like people want to have a way to like have Bolt mount to your file system, which is like totally possible. With the file system API. It sounds interesting. Like we haven't done any R&D on this. I think that's the hard point. Once you start connecting to local file systems, things get more complicated. But yeah, I think it sounds like a great idea.
I wonder, if we have Git, like a proper Git integration that might solve that pain a little bit, right? So you might work on local, push to Git, use that same repository in Bolt and so on. So it wouldn't be like direct connection, but in production environment should be good. Yeah,
I think pushing. Push. Here's the question. This is exactly what Tomek's talking about. This is definitely. I think this is like probably one of the most obvious next steps. So, like, right now we're very focused on like just addressing the P0s, which is like token usage and controlling the AI better and et cetera. After that, I think that, this has been probably one of the top requests we've had is like, hey, I want to commit to a repo, right? Whether that's private or public for that matter. But actually have Bolt synced with a repo. I mean, very 100%. I mean, the nice thing about like where we're coming from in developing Bolt, it's not like Stackblitz has been around for 7 years. It's a web-based IDE. We've been able to commit to Git repos for 5 of those 7 years. So we know how to do this. I mean, we got actually a lot of really great technology on the shelf that we can just go and apply directly here. So this is not like net new R&D for us in a sense. Like how to actually do these sort of integrations well. It's doing it reliably with the AI. There's some new UX considerations, but 100%. We absolutely intend on doing this. Yes. Someone want to take this one?
I think probably GitHub is a good place, right? Because we monitor GitHub pretty closely.
Yeah.
But we have also people watching on Discord and on X. So
yeah, maybe like if you're running into issues, GitHub, like if it's something bug, needs something solved, on X or Discord, if you just kind of have some questions and looking to get answers, those are great. If you go to discord.gg/stackblitz, that is our Discord. Someone can put that in the chat maybe, but that's the Discord URL, and then we're at Stackblitz over on X. So.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to add the Twitter, and then I lost my.
You're totally good. You're totally good.
Oh, this is also true. There is a X community created for Bolt.
Yes, that is true. I can go find the link for that. One of the folks in the community actually made this X community. And it's super cool. People are already posting in there and whatnot. I've actually never really used X communities before. I not that I have anything against them. I just never found, but it's kind of cool. It's like you have a little private space to chat with folks. And okay, where the heck is that thing? Let me find this. Yeah, super fun. I mean, people are sharing like what they're working on and like sharing just kind of like their best tips and practices and like how to get the best results from the AI and whatnot. I'm having a heck of a time finding this. What am I doing? I'm in the community. I have the link. Here we go. Let's see. Let me go. Open up YouTube. Okay, I'm posting this in the YouTube chat. Here we go. Boom. There it is. Okay. Awesome. Okay. What other questions we got? Love some of these ideas. Yeah, I was actually gonna point that one out. Love that idea. I think the idea of having a gallery, where you can kind of browse, like you can kind of publish to a gallery, like 100%. I mean, that's definitely coming. I mean, especially the amount of cool stuff people are making. I just want to see more of this stuff. It's just like mind blowing. Some of the things that people are creating. So absolutely. Love that idea.
Kaida, in that topic, because someone was asking if you can build stuff other than for web, specifically in Bolt. So you should, like, a huge shout out to Native Script, and you should follow them and look what they're doing on Twitter. And they're using Bolt and even building, I think, Vision apps for the Apple Vision. But at least I've seen a lot of I'm looking at the Vision app demo from them, but like they're great at mobile apps, native mobile apps, and you can build them. You basically build them on Bolt and have a preview up refreshed on your mobile phone. So yeah, it is possible.
Yeah, and we got more stuff coming on the native apps. Go ahead, Dom.
Not only that, I've seen in the chat like people ask about like D apps and stuff like that, and since I'm also a little bit interested in that, space. You can also build like with Hardhat, for instance, you can build like smart contracts using Solidity and like all of that stuff. It actually works. Like you can build them, you know, there's JavaScript packages. So maybe I have some projects that I could share. So it's actually pretty interesting that it can do that as well. And what I'll say again is we also have like, you know, Web Container has Python support, which even if it's like basic Python support, but it can build, for instance, like entire neural networks with, you know, backpropagation, and you can ask it questions about how it works, and it works. It works really well.
That it just reminded me. Someone posted on X about they're making web. Is it not Web3? Is it D3 now? I think, when did the name change happen?
Wait, web.
You said you call it like D3 apps. Is that what you called it?
No,
Oh, I misheard you.
Decentralized apps.
Oh, decentralized. Got it. Okay.
Decentralized. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
because it was Web3, and maybe after ZERP ended, we changed the name. Is that what happened?
No, I don't think so. I think it's still Web3.
I messed up. Someone's making decentralized apps, but they made an app on Bolt. I loved it because I'm like this is like useful actually. Where you before you buy a token or like a crypto or whatever, you put in your emotion of how you feel about the purchase, and then after you do it, then you log how you feel after you made it. And I was like, this should be required for anyone buying and selling Dogecoin. Like this, like every app that lists Dogecoin is something you could buy. There, I would pay money to see what people feel before and after measured. You know, in the base. I thought that was completely random, but I was like, it's actually like kind of a cool idea. Yeah. So Hardhat supported. Another couple of questions that came in are that were early in the chat. Are we developing additional features for the Bolt code editor? Absolutely, it's going to be getting even more powerful. Kind of imagine all the sort of like, things you would normally expect from like a VS Code sort of extension powered IDE thing. That's the direction that we're moving with it. Obviously in StackBits today, we have like full VS Code that you can use. So we're going to be bringing some of that into Bolt. On deployment, Paul asked, will we be able to deploy to a dev environment and a prod environment, keep deploying to them? Answer is like, yes. So we've actually got work now in progress that'll allow you'll be able to like log into Netlify or any other provider, deploy straight to your production site, be able to keep updating it. You can have it would not be a hard lift for us to have another site for like dev or staging or something like that. But yeah, so this is I believe that this was put in flight earlier this week. If this isn't landing this week, it'll probably be landing at the beginning of next week, would be my kind of current guess based on my current read of what we're working with. But this is definitely kind of one that for folks that have been power using Bolt, one of the hardest, most painful things is like if you go and claim your production sites in Netlify, you can't keep deploying to them right now. We need to add OAuth to fix that part of the flow, or not OAuth, or just way to actually link it your account to your Bolt account. But we're working on that. We're going to have fixes for that in the next week or so here. Mobile app. Yeah. Bolt can make mobile apps, so we should probably start by just saying Bolt, make a mobile app for Bolt and see how far we get. No, I think definitely at some point, making it work well on mobile, interesting challenge, not impossible. It's certainly something that's on our to-do list. It's probably a little bit further back to some of the other stuff we're talking about, but yeah, I mean, the idea of kind of creating stuff from your phone is is pretty cool. And it's definitely possible for us to do it. So, ooh, all right, who wants to answer this one?
I mean, I think right now we can't really.
But what about like next week, maybe?
That's the.
Could you imagine a world? Imagine a world where when the code is being written, it shows up as a colored diff. Definitely not. Listen, that's a world that's definitely not happening next week. I can, just absolutely not. There's no way we would ever ship that. It's definitely not something we're going to do totally joking. Yeah, 100%. Like this is probably one of like the probably the most obvious low hanging fruits for like improving the experience of like watching the code be generated. So we've got some stuff coming very shortly where you'll be able to like see this and and be able to really see what's happening between each change and all that stuff. So I think it'll be a pretty nice improvement. It'll feel even more like kind of magic than it does now, when you see the AI kind of punching out code. So
awesome. Okay, we are at the top of the hour here. I'm going to show this link to the X community here. Also follow us at Stackblitz. Awesome. All right. Any closing remarks from the team?
Thank you all for coming. We're stoked. And we're going to start doing this every week, just talking about the latest things we've shipped, answering questions. And if we didn't get to your question, feel free to just like tweet us or jump in Discord. Happy to answer you there. This has been a lot of fun. Wouldn't you say, y'all?
Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one, y'all.
Everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.